Hello, everyone, and welcome to VMblog's VMworld 2020 digital coverage as we maintain social distancing. Today, we're excited to speak with one of our favorites, EUC industry expert Jason Smith, who's the VP of Products and Solutions at Liquidware. Jason, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on, inviting me to this. I'm really going to enjoy our chat today, I believe.
Yeah, we always enjoy talking with you and learning what you guys are up to, and it's a shame we can't see you face to face, but Zoom session works out pretty good.
Yeah, it does. It does. Although you and I were joking, before we got going today, that the last time people saw me on VMblog, I probably had the same background, the same shirt, and people are going to wonder how often I get out. So rest assured, I am getting out.
Well, let's go ahead and jump in, and if you don't mind, just for the 5 people in the world that don't know much about Liquidware, can you give us a quick overview of the company?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. And it's always a good update, even if people know who we are, to see where we're speaking from in recent months to years. And as I'm showing this adaptive workspace management messaging that I have on the screen, we provide a phase for every organization to be able to use our solution set to ease the transition to new desktops, and then ongoing management of those desktops. And we do that through our user environment management solution that will go across OS. It'll go across the types of desktops. So if you're switching from one type of virtual desktop to another, it's great. Even physical desktop to physical desktop across OS. That's our user environment management solution known as Profile Unity. And it goes well beyond the profile. It unifies, Profile Unity, unifies all parts of the user persona that matter, including user preferences, as well as policy management that is well beyond group policy preferences from Microsoft. Gives you one point of command for that. And a solution set that works along with that is our application layering known as FlexApp. Instead of installing applications to the base image, we are able to package them up very quickly and put them on a VHD or VMDK, or you rather do the packaging, but it's very intuitive through our FlexApp packaging console. You'll get a glimpse of that today as I'll show some updates and some feature sets that we have built out for that. And then a filter driver makes that application look and act as if it's actually in the native OS environment. So applications can follow the user. You don't have to repackage them if you've changed the OS version. So there's some stark contrast and differences in there from the tool sets that may be offered from the desktop vendors. So it's an advanced way to package up apps and has a high compatibility rating as well. Our monitoring and diagnostic solution is known as Stratosphere UX, and that's where we're bringing everything home because it can be used in an assessment phase. It can also be used in a user experience phase, knowing the user experience throughout your production environment. So you can grow and scale your environment. You can burst scale for things like COVID-19 if you've rapidly needed to roll out additional desktops to support work from home users. We give you the decision support to know where stress points may be in your environment. So you can use it for root cause analysis, troubleshooting, and just knowing the overall health of your environment through Stratosphere UX.
Hey, Jason, we appreciate having you joining us today. And today we celebrate VMworld. Obviously, this show is a little bit different since it's gone digital. What are your thoughts on digital events versus the traditional physical events that we're used to?
Yeah, that's a great question because we've lived a sampling of virtual events. It seems like as early as somewhere around 2010 or 11 where they tried to do a virtual VMware. They did a virtual VMworld, and it was lightly attended. So it's interesting to see that we were prepared to make this shift if need be, and we have. The disappointing thing is that this would be our 11th VMworld that we have not missed a single one, and we've done most in Europe as well. So that's a little disappointing not to be able to do it in person, to see you guys face to face, for example. Our first one was as a company in 2009, and that was the year that in months leading up to VMworld, Liquidware became a company. And through our Stratosphere solution first, and then Profile Unity that was rapidly added, we launched at VMworld 2009. So this year's a little bit bittersweet, not getting together in person, but to have another year behind us of success. Virtual events, I know we saw in the spring where a lot of people pivoted to virtual events. They were very successful, I think, for a few months because people were hungry to maybe get a taste of getting together in person. And they do serve a need, and they'll continue to serve a need. I think we saw a peak in the spring, and then people are likely already tired of virtual events to some extent. I believe this being the first VMworld that's virtual in quite some time, and the pin-up interest, it will be successful, but nothing can replace that face-to-face interaction that we've known each year. So we'll make the best of it as we go forward. We're going to do some activities in and around VMworld this year, but the exhibition list to participate was by invitation only. So some of the largest vendors got that invitation. Companies like Liquidware, we're going to do things in and around the show. For example, we're going to have an inside track gathering the day before VMworld. So we'll be able to get the word out through through our partners that brief industry analysts and bloggers with us. And you guys are familiar with that program, I know, but it's us and iGel and Stratadesk usually, NVIDIA a lot of times, and sometimes one of the platform vendors will also chip in and will brief people in a very hard-hitting, fast press briefing, and then we'll be able to share out everything what's new very rapidly that same week of VMworld.
Yeah, we'll definitely miss the what I always call the largest high school reunion that you really want to go to, the annual event of meeting up with folks you only see once a year at VMworld. Another change beyond just VMworld going digital has been this massive shift towards working from home, and I know you and I have talked about this before. But if you could maybe share your thoughts on, the whole work from home thing and how things have changed for your company, both internally and externally.
The good news is that VMblog and your audience there were probably better prepared than most for what happened in mid-March, when a lot of companies sent more people to work from home. I say more because probably the types of organizations that we're involved with already had certain people working from home. So there was a need to burst scale those environments to add more to it. For example, we had customers that already had VDI. They went from some of them like 2,500 users to an additional 2,500 or 3,000 users within the week or two after that in mid-March. And we were able to help that transition go smoothly because some of those customers already had us on every desktop because we work across virtual, cloud, and physical. So they could easily transition to a virtual desktop, maybe cloud-based. So the good news is a lot of us were very prepared. The bad news is a lot of organizations were not. So they had to check out, what is this virtual desktop industry is about and how can it help me? They may have known on the periphery. So we saw some of that as well. But likewise, organizations like VMware, as we head into VMworld, Citrix, Amazon Workspaces, Nutanix Xyframe, all able to help organizations out because these technologies are more mature than they had been in previous years. So some of them were able to go from 0 to 65 miles per hour very quickly. And some of them are still gathering together what could be the best thing going forward in case we have a second wave of isolation from COVID-19 or your next crisis or pandemic. So many prepared, many weren't, but we're helping as many as we can, as fast as we can. And there's a lot of success stories that have come out of this.
And getting back to VMworld and VMware, how does your company partner with VMware?
Good question. So in 2009, we decided that we would help in this community with solution sets that would help onboard people to a solution like Horizon very quickly, although we didn't call it Horizon at the time. VDI, VMware VDI back in the day, we would speak about it. And those solution sets are still largely in play today, being able to assess the environment, being able to know the ongoing user experience. If you've got in over your head and you don't know where the stress points are, so we can help you grow and scale. And we do that with Stratosphere UX. And then helping you, because the best way to run a VMware Horizon environment or any VDI environment is likely through a, likely organizations would agree, is through a non-persistent desktop or a pooled group of machines that basically are reset every time the user logs off. And that's where Profile Unity comes into play, because we keep the user persona and everything that is unique to that desktop separate on-prem or in the cloud. And it is rejoined very quickly at the very next login. And application layering, of course, helps lower the number of base images that you are managing, and keeping applications separate from the OS and the environment, so you can keep the entire desktop dynamic. So we help and have long helped and had success stories in helping VMware customers in that way. And admittedly, there's some solution sets out of that that overlap as tools in, that you might get with advanced, top tier, more expensive versions of Horizon. App volumes, for example, the Immediate solution set that they acquired, both of those they acquired, and monitoring that they have added to over the years. The big difference in what we offer is we give you the option to run our solution sets across any Windows desktop, not just VMware Horizon, but any of your physical desktops. You may have Citrix desktops or Amazon Workspaces. And once you have everything managed by a separate adaptive workspace management suite, you can change between those at any time. So we help VMware when customers want to burst scale into VMware desktops, but the customer is left flexible and they can make decisions go forward where they want that workload to be. So if emerging technologies are out there and they want to switch, customers have that freedom if they opt for the Liquidware essential suite that I've been discussing.
And we kind of talked about the different technologies that you guys have. Is there anything that you kind of spotlight, or that you can, when you go out into the marketplace and you're selling it, or you're talking to folks at trade shows, what are those things that set you apart, that make you unique, or makes your products differentiated in the marketplace?
Good question. Well, many of the tiers from the desktop vendors, such as Citrix and VMware, many of those tiers actually include things at that top tier, mostly that we provide. But we would say that with our essential suite, we give you the flexibility to go across. So that adaptive workspace mentality that you wouldn't get with the tools from VMware or Citrix is an advantage to customers that are looking to roll us out. It's an advantage because you can use us prior to Horizon, for example, and be able to add more Horizon seats, go from physical to VDI. It's an advantage to customers if they ever want to switch and try something like native WVD, Microsoft's WVD emerging VDI platform that's hosted totally in Azure. So native meaning you've got that stack end to end, and that you're hosting it on Azure as well as getting everything from Microsoft. So there's no third party in the mix for the platform. Or you can use simply your entitlements on VMware Horizon. And as you won't hear the vendors like VMware, who is a great partner, you won't hear them speak about all the other desktops in the industry because, of course, they focus on theirs. But organizations, on the other hand, have reality. They have a mix of Citrix desktops, of Amazon Workspaces sometimes, Horizon, or all three, and certainly physical as well. Being able to shift those workloads is an advantage and ties together what we're talking about working from home. So if you had physical desktop users, if they're already running our suite, they could seamlessly transition to VMware Horizon, for example, or Citrix or Amazon. It gives you the ability and the flexibility to keep those desktops dynamic. So as we spoke about work from home, you can flip a switch literally between Friday and Monday and let users know that their next desktop is actually a new icon on their desktop to the cloud. And that's where you have enabled Liquidware to be able to measure that user experience. Is it better or worse than the old desktop experience? Are users productive? And also seamlessly their profile can come across. It's not stuck in a silo of a desktop platform tool, but goes across any way that you deliver your Windows desktops.
And normally around VMworld, a lot of people in this industry are announcing new products or product updates. Does Liquidware have any new products or announcements?
Yeah, we do. We have many. So I'm going to share a screen here, Flex App and Profile Unity, what's new lately. And that is in the last version, starting at the beginning of this year, and then we had an update for a revision 2 of that. We added the following things, and I'll just hit on these real quick. Microsoft App V and MSIX convert to Flex App. So if you're App V shop or you have MSIX apps and you want to convert those to Flex App, we actually have a way to intuitively and quickly get those apps into a Flex App format. Now with Microsoft App V, there's 2 ways to do that. You can leave your isolation alone and simply have us mount the Flex App, the App V package, so you still get your isolation, or you can convert that App V to a Flex App to where it's a little more native in the environment. MSIX, similar benefits there. What is unique about that is it allows us to be able to use our context-aware settings for security, for provisioning to the desktops. We have over 244 different ways that we can assign an application to the desktop. And being able to do that as a Flex App in a block level, very quick performance that you'll get from Flex App in that way. We've enhanced our support for Windows 10 multi-session, and that has to do with entitlements to WVD. Multi-session 10 is an entitlement from WVD. You can run that in VMware Horizon environments or Citrix environments, and of course with Microsoft native WVD when you're doing an end-to-end stack straight from Microsoft. We've had speed improvements with Flex App as well, security enhancements, and in the R2 version that we released in June, we added VHDX support for Flex App and our profile disk technology. Our profile disk technology is similar to FSLogix. Now we can work with FSLogix for Microsoft, or you can replace that functionality with our profile disk that you may find for certain environments is more scalable, easy to manage. Of course, we always have bug fixes along the way to give better quality of product, and we've got more flexible ways to bill for environments like AWS. We can even bill by the hour now. Those options are out there, and that has been stitched into the product, where when you're burst scaling into an Amazon Workspaces environment, just an example again, work from home, maybe that was the environment you burst scaled into, you have the flexibility not only monthly now, but hourly billing. And we've made it easier for the Flex App packaging console to be installed because we check for the requirements there, C++ runtimes and .NET frameworks, for example, where it is a single click, and those things are checked for and they're pulled in if needed. I'll show a screenshot too here of the Flex App packaging console. I'm going to show a series of 3 areas here that shows you how easy it is to import a Flex App. If you're upgrading your Flex App management console, it gives you 3 options. You can also convert that App V, and you can also convert an MSIX. And this was the functionality I was talking about that's new lately. When you're converting a package, here we're showing the example of converting an MSIX package, but the App V part would be much the same. We're going to point to the package files that you have out there for MSIX or App V, and then we're going to hit convert, and that process starts taking place. And as that ticks along, you can see in here the time counter. It's only going to take a couple of minutes, and you'll have that converted to a Flex App package. So that gives a quick way for users to convert their App V packages, because many people have seen that App V is no longer being proactively developed in favor of MSIX, and you may have some advantages with speed in converting those to Flex Apps themselves. So that's new. That's what's new in Profile Unity and Flex App. With Stratosphere UX, I'd like to share that, what's new, and see if you guys had any thoughts about Flex App, since I'm just talking.
Yeah, it'd be great to, see, I'm a visual guy, so showing this, what these things look like really help, I think, set the stage as we're talking about it.
Great. So Stratosphere UX, we had a new release of that in June, and that's version 6.1.5. And we've got new support for new clients, WVD and 10-zig clients we have support for, and that's because the Stratosphere agent is installed on the endpoint, so you're knowing that first mile. We already had agents for Stratodesk, for iGel as well, and also native Linux. So that adds to the fold additional clients, so you know that first mile of connectivity. And why that's important at this point in time is work from home. Those are the types of clients that you may be on, thin clients, for example, and you know that user experience even on the endpoint. So something like an iGel UD Pocket, you know that endpoint experience, 10-zig as well. Amazon hourly billing's been added into that. Process optimization updates have been added, and I've got a screen to show of this in a second, but we have a process optimization feature set in Stratosphere, and that has already been a feature set for the last year or so, but we now have reports wrapped around it, and we can show you exactly the performance gains that you're getting. Some of our customers are able to extend the life cycle of their PCs for up to 18 months, some perhaps even longer, because our optimizer enables or automatically get you faster performance on machines by looking at the apps that are in the forefront that the user is actually working on and giving those higher RAM allocation as well as CPU allocation. We've had updates to our dashboards and to our inspector updates to give further control and to stability in those environments. Being able to measure things like protocol latency for RDP and RFX rather, and speed enhancements to our inspector reports. We have a spot checks tab that's new in the product, giving you more metrics and easier to drill into metrics, and security updates, and of course quality assurance bug fixes for anything that was outstanding in previous versions. The API has been updated, so I'll give you a quick look at the API. And what would people use our API for? They would use it to be able to feed Stratosphere data into any other third-party ITSM product, for example, so you have a single point of data for your desktops, help desk products, and things of that nature. We're also working, a little sidebar, we're also working on integration with ServiceNow that we'll see in the next month or two, and so look for information from that with integrated an integrated kit for ServiceNow, to where you can, your ServiceNow administrator can actually pipe in Stratosphere metrics. So it helps with help desk if that's what you're using as your primary support help desk tool. Our login breakdown has been updated to give you even further metrics, a per process resource usage. So it's interesting that people found our login process reports really invaluable before. I couldn't put a price on it because it could diagnose a long login and tell you exactly what's happening, or even taking another double click into that with being able to see at a process level what's going on. And now that cores and multiple cores are more popular than ever. For example, i5 and i7, it's quite common to have 4 cores. We can actually look into a core level basis and telling you if an application may be taking up a half a core. So at a glance, previously and from our competitors, if you're looking at how much process it's taking up, they're going to tell you on a per processor basis and maybe only tell you on a single core what's going on. We'll tell you up to every single core what's going on, and that's a better reality check for what's going on, not only during login, but during the user session. So we're looking at things on a core process now. The work for home metrics that we added in there have already been reaping great rewards from our customers, because we've added things in like Wi-Fi distance. So I'm showing a screen right now of Wi-Fi distance work from home report. We can tell you an estimated distance from the Wi-Fi access point that your user is connecting from. So if they call the help desk, my connection is slow, you can at a glance say, are you out in the backyard by the garden or by the pool? What are you doing? You come in a little closer to the office because it looks like you're approximately 9 meters from your Wi-Fi access point. So those metrics are already been very helpful, as well as work from home traceroute and endpoint metrics. So we're able to tell you point to point, and that's where Stratosphere really excels. When you have an agent on that endpoint device, like we discussed earlier, you're able to tell point to point, traceroute and hop, and it tells you individually where these things may be causing a hiccup in with for latency or too many hops getting to the VDI environment, for example. I'm going to show a report real quick on our process optimization stats. So our process optimization stats not only had Optimizer already improved the performance of your desktop, now we're giving you something like a thermostat to tell you exactly what it's doing. So we're telling you how many apps are enjoying and reaping the benefits here on a application by application name of our process optimization. So you're able to run these reports really quick, and this is where we're able to add years to the life cycle, a year or several, to the life cycle of your PCs to save an organization, as you can imagine, with thousands of desktops, millions of dollars, and be able to show exactly what we're doing and be able to give you direct information to be able to justify a return on investment for you using Stratosphere. So that is a look at what's new with Stratosphere as well, at least a glance. As you can tell, all three products are chock full of updates.
So as always, it was a pleasure speaking with you and learning what's new with Liquidware and all these great updates. Where can people go if they want to find out more information about Liquidware and some of the new updates that you just talked about?
That's a great way to close. We're working on a whole thing about ROI, and I'd spoken about that. So we're going to have an ROI calculator you can visit within the next few weeks and be able to see how much money you can save through our solutions. So that's one way you'll be able to engage with us. Another way you can engage right now is you can go straight to our website. All our products are not heavily gated. You can be testing out all three solutions within a few minutes. Literally, you fill out a form and you're able to download. So someone will engage with you and see if you need any assistance throughout that. But as intuitive as they are, you can be up and running in a proof of concept or pilot in just a handful of minutes. So that's the best way. You can always reach us at sales@liquidware.com if you have questions, or if you're not comfortable with sales, the info alias works as well. And as always, www.liquidware.com is the source of all this information. We appreciate the opportunity to come on the VMblog and to have this virtual experience in and around the time frame of VMworld 2020. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Jason. We always appreciate talking with you guys, and we'll keep watching to see what Liquidware does next.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more from our cloud technology partners, please hit the like button and subscribe. And if you want to get notified next time we post a video, please hit the subscribe and the bell notification. Very important.